The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
I love the harmonica. It's a neat, nifty little instrument. Every Civil War movie, there's always a night before the battle, gathered round the campfire, a guy playing the harmonica singing. Where you from, boy? Virginia, sir. Boy. Yes, sir. You ever been in a battle before? No, sir, but I'm aiming to. Boy. Yes, sir. You better stop playing that goddamn harmonica. One time, just idly, I was sitting in bed, and I put it in my mouth and breathed. And it played a tune like my breathing. With no hands and breathing. And I thought to myself, this would make a hell of a nurse's aide. If a guy is sick in the hospital, a nurse can slip one of these in his mouth, hear how he's breathing, go away, play cards. Any problem, she hears right away, musically. Shoves the oxygen in his mouth and saves him. If he should happen to expire, I love that word, that's what hospital, I'm sorry he expired yesterday at 2 p.m. Is that pomposity? I'm sorry he expired yesterday. You don't know if it's a man or a library card. I'm sorry he expired. Please, we could have renewed the son of a... Why don't you tell her, can we still bring the candy? I want to die. I don't want to expire. At least if he expires, it ends on a nice exhale. A major chord, very final sounding. Think of it. The exhale is out. It's perfect, you know. You can go out your own way. A little pompous, little style. It's a whole lifetime after all. Funky.
In praise of the harmonica, that was Robert Klein. Hi, and welcome to the Brain Sandwich Podcast. This is podcast number 36, actually, in an ongoing series of brainless podcasts. And we're going to continue with the movie reviews. This time we're doing Elves, which was a Christmas one, then Alligator 2, The Mutation, and we'll round it out with Piranha 2, The Spawning. I don't remember most of these reviews except for a really good, significant line that was in Elves, and Jim and Jay will point that out for you, so you'll know what I'm talking about in a little bit. Anyway, here's Elves.
Are you guys watching the god-awful movies again?
No, of course not. We're watching It's a Wonderful
Yeah,
Life.
with Jimmy Stewart.
And Donna Reed.
It's
our favorite.
When I came downstairs, that's not who I saw on it. I did not see Donna Reed. I did not see Jimmy Stewart. Now, who was it? Who was it?
Elves.
Who was it?
Elves.
Elvis? Now you're saying Elvis is on It's a Wonderful Life? Last week they said Elvis was at Dubuque, Iowa, and set 7-Eleven. And then last night they said they saw him swimming at the Southside Y. You guys are crazier than I thought. Good night.
Good night.
Nice.
Oh, Jay, she really let into us that time.
Well, why did you tell her that Elvis was on this? You know she's not going to believe Elvis is on
I
It's a
didn't
Wonderful
tell her that
Life.
Elvis was on It's a Wonderful
Well,
Life.
sure you did.
No, I didn't. I said Elves. Elves. Yeah, that's the name of the movie today.
Elves?
Elves, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
great. This is great, Jay. It has everything. It has Nazis. It has little elves
yeah?
running around that come out of the ground and,
Oh,
and they
really?
run around and kill cats and stuff. And it has these high school girls that run around with negligees and stuff on. And then what happens is the Nazis are the ones that made the elves, and they were going to take over the world.
Oh, yeah?
But instead, the elves run around and they kill everybody, right?
Oh, good. Let's put it in.
Okay.
Come on, man. Take it easy. This is only going to take a minute.
All right, what's it about?
Why don't you tell me what you know about the elves?
Elves, my God, this is a matter of life and death. Rosa, telephone la policia.
Okay?
Llame al policio
Hey,
los
listen.
nueve, uno.
By the time you get through to her, I'll be out of here, all right? Tell me what you know.
All right. You have 1 minute.
I want to know the connection between the elves and the Nazis.
There are two schools of thought.
What are they?
One, the Nazis experimented with elves as assassination teams. Small, easily hidden, silent, vicious. They have magical powers. They can't be hurt or killed. They eat anything. They're a perfect soldier. The problem is, there's no such thing.
What else is there? Tell me some more.
Theory 2. The elves were a genetic engineering experiment. Now, I like this one better. It mixes science and the occult. The Nazis did have some clever scientists. This was before today's technology, of course. Each elf was to house the haploid gene structure in its sperm cells to produce the master race. Once again, magical powers can't be hurt or killed. Driven to select the genetically perfect human mate, the proverbial virgin, of course, holy midnight consummation on Christmas Eve.
Wait a minute. Tonight, you mean...
The elf mates with the virgin on Christmas Eve to produce the master race. And it will eventually rule the world. But once again, the problem is there is no such thing. No elves. Honey, would you tell these kids not to be throwing things at each other? Now, your time is up.
Daddy, what's elves?
Elves.
That's right, Jay. He said it right. This is Elves. And I wasn't kidding, Jay. This thing has everything. This is a 1989 production featuring Dan Haggerty, the guy from Grizzly Adams. And I don't know what's happened to him, but this is where he pops up again. And he really lends a real air of sophistication to this movie, Jay. And just a name that I like, the editor, one of the editors' name is Douglas Grimm. And it hasn't got anything to do with the movie, and it doesn't mean that I hated it, because I loved it. This is a great movie, Jay. And I have a feeling that you feel the same way about it.
Oh, you're right, Jim. I love the movie. In fact, you're right about Dan Haggerty, too. We haven't seen him really. Oh, probably this is his first movie since he lighted his beard while he was freebasing in Los Angeles.
And I think it had an effect on him.
I think so, too. That's probably the reason that he got into this movie to begin with. That and a good agent, you know? Could do wonders for you, Jim.
Well, let's get into the story. Tell a little bit about the story. This is so great.
Well, first of all, just let me say that the opening scene we just had was really interesting in that the little girls sitting around the table seemed to know what a virgin was. They didn't know what an elf was. I thought it was kind of weird. If they're going to ask a question, it was, what's an elf, you know? Not what's a virgin.
That's true.
It's odd, but I guess maybe that's the 90s or the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah, I guess
this was actually the late 80s.
The age of innocence.
Made in 1989.
Well, basically, Jay, the professor told the story at the beginning, but the background behind it is that this girl, she lives with her grandfather, supposedly, and her mother, who's very young. Her mother's very young. Her grandfather is obviously pretty old. Well, it turns out that he's an ex-Nazi, and they had some kind of plan to form the master race. And I guess without going into too much detail, basically they've bred his granddaughter, who turns out to be also his daughter. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on in there. And so that they had a perfect Aryan gene, and then these elves would come to life, and they had that gene in them, and then they'd mate at midnight, before midnight, or on midnight at Christmas Eve, and boom, there you have it, master race time. They take over the world, and we're all out of here. So, quite a story, Jay, I'm telling you. I mean, this took a lot of thought, a lot of imagination, and then they put it together with just such expertise, and then got the best actors and actresses that they possibly could. In fact, Jay, there's a scene coming up here with Dan Haggerty that shows just how far he's come since Grizzly Adams.
Got my name to day shift. It was a real tough crime, but I did it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Look, you're always welcome around here. Why don't you get some coffee and donuts at the snack counter? On me.
Come on, Hugh. I can buy my own coffee, and you know I don't need any donuts. I need a job. That's what I need.
Well, I don't have anything for you. We contract out for our security now.
Well, nice. But I know you always need extra help around here at Christmas time. I'll do anything. Look, I'm straight. You can trust me. Give me a break, please.
I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
I'm sorry.
You know, you really are sorry, Hugh.
You take that sentiment outside, mister. It's Christmas time.
Boy, Jay, we're talking Academy Award here. I mean, that is just a great thing.
Really, Jim, and a fine supporting cast here that really
yes,
augment Dan Haggerty's fine performance.
Yeah.
Also, Jim, it doesn't seem to me that Dan Haggerty's lost any of his sense of humor either. There's a scene coming up here that was really wonderful that reflects the fine wit that Dan has.
Excuse me, ma'am. I remember a book from college about mystical symbols and runes.
Occult Sciences, section 666.
Are you kidding me? That's got to be a joke.
It is pretty funny, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, that's great, Jay. That's all right.
And he says it with such a twinkle in his eye, too.
Yeah, gee, it's such enthusiasm.
Yeah,
That's
really.
what I like about Dan.
Anyway, it was just one of the finest jobs of acting I've seen in a long time. In a truly, truly wonderful movie, just like you pointed out.
It was. Well, he ends up getting a job in this department store, Jay, and he keeps trying to find this symbol that he keeps finding around where people are killed, and it's written in blood usually. It looks like almost like an Egyptian Ankh or something, but it's broken, almost like the broken cross of the Nazi symbol. And, Jay, another interesting thing is the name of the department store. He finally gets a job in the department store. The name is Gollum's Department Store, and that's interesting because it's not only the name of the salamander-like icky creature that comes out of the caverns in Lord of the Rings, but it's also the thing that Gomer Pyle used to say a lot on his show when he had it, U.S. Marine Corps.
Good try, but it was golly, Jim, not Gollums.
Oh, that's right. Well, there was something. I don't know what it was, but it was a neat name anyway. I liked it. But the movie speaks for itself, Jay. We don't even have to really say anything about it. There's another scene coming up here that I think is just wonderful. I won't even give it away. Just listen.
How much do you know about your Bible, Mr. McGavin?
I had one once.
Genesis, chapter 6. Oh, do come along. Go in the ark. God is not pleased. It seems that the angels have been slipping down to the earth and beguiling with the women. Plus, that thing with Eve and the apple is still sticking in his craw. God is fed up with the entire place and decides to do away with it. But at the last minute, he relents and thinks, now there's a very fine fellow. Yes, he's worth saving. I'll save him and his entire family. And since God has nothing against the animals, he commands Noah to take them into the ark with him. So what? So this. Now, among the creatures specified by God to be saved, it is said, the little creeping things. Now, are they insects? Maybe. A lizard, right? Wrong. No.
Doc, do me a favor. What is the bottom line?
Well, I'm telling you, the bottom line is, the little creeping things are the little creatures that creep on two legs. Idiomatically, we call them elves.
Elves?
Yes, that symbol you showed me. It's attributed to the elves.
Doc, wait a second. Elves. Ugly little creatures that stand about 2 feet tall.
Oh, however they're supposed to look.
Do you think that there could be an elf cult or a sect alive today that would be crazy enough to kill people?
Oh, no. But about 50 years ago, there was a group that believed in elves that did one hell of a lot of killing. The Nazis.
The Nazis?
Mm-hmm.
They believed in elves?
Oh, yes. They believed in a lot of things. You know, if you could ignore their brutality, you'd have to say they were just a bunch of crackpots.
Well, what in the hell are these Nazis going to do with these elves?
I don't know. Oh, actually, Professor O'Connor. He is more up to date on the Nazis than I am. Yes.
Where could I find him now?
Let's see, it's Christmas Eve. He should be home. Thank you.
Well, I think that I've seen an elf. Do you think that I'm a crackpot?
Oh. Are you asking if I believe in elves? No, I don't. But God did.
You've been a hell of a lot of help, Doc, in your one piece of work. Merry Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Jay, Dan Haggerty's one piece of work, too, and that was just a wonderful scene.
Great piece of scripting, too.
Oh, let me tell you, they've really put it all together, Jay, and it's so bold. I mean, they've even taken to reinterpreting the Bible in a way that no one else would ever conceive doing it, just to make this whole thing work. I think this is wonderful. I love this movie.
I agree with you, Jim. I think that interpretation of the Bible there is one of the most daring, biblically related scenes since Charlton Heston parted the Red Sea in Ten Commandments.
I think you're absolutely right. And not to hurry it on, but there's one more scene, Jay. I'm going to let you have it. You've got to set this up. This is beautiful. This caps the whole movie off, and I think that's all we have to say after this.
Don't look away from me when I'm talking to you.
Stop. Jim, I think the scene you're referring to is the final confrontation that occurs Christmas Eve in the hours or minutes before the final consummation of this relationship that's supposed to produce the master race. And, of course, you know, on Christmas Eve, normally with these movies like this, we'll come to resolution. Everything's going to be all right. You know, it's resolved. Everybody's happy at the end, especially a Christmas movie like this. But in this movie, Jim, realism wins out. Things aren't quite as happy at the end. And here's a scene coming up in which the young boy, bright-eyed young boy, he wants the adults, he wants the people around him to reassure him that everything is okay. But, Jim, this is when hard reality sets in. Let's listen.
Tell me something. What in the hell is this? Your new party insignia?
No, that is our original party insignia.
What's wrong? Are we going to be all right?
No, Willie. Gramps is a Nazi.
It pretty much says it all, Jim. A Merry Christmas to all and to all good night.
5 lobotomies for me, Jay.
I'm going to go down one on that, Jim. 4.5 lobotomies. I'm not going to put this up with basket case and
I am.
Hell.
I think this is great.
It's close.
I haven't laughed this hard in a long time, Jay.
It's real close. It was a tough one, but I think 4.5 for me.
Okay. Well, thanks to Star Video at 3117 for this gem that they recommended for us, Jay, to watch.
3117 South Grand, Jim.
What'd I say?
It's 3117.
That's all?
That's all. But it's South Grand. It doesn't matter anyway. You were so taken by this movie, you forgot to mention the street.
That's right.
We love the movie anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Seamless Brain Sandwich Movie Review. We'll see you next week.
Hi, Jay. What's up?
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for coming over. You know, we haven't done a movie review now in like 9 or 10 months.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long time.
I know. We've been doing repeat after repeat, and I'm getting tired of it, too. And the reason we're doing it is because Jim's never available. He's always busy. He's always doing something. Finally, I got him pinned down to this Monday night. I said, Jim, let's do Monday night. Nothing's going to come in our way. Let's just do the movie review. Sure enough, no Jim. 9:30, he calls up, I'm too tired to come over. Anyway, I'm so tired of it, Kevin.
Oh, okay. So you want to still do a movie
Yes,
review.
I want to do a movie review. I want you to do it with me. And I know I've known Jim for so long that I know exactly what he's going to say. I know what his responses are going to be. So all I want you to do is kind of read off this paper and take Jim's part. See, Jim would say this. This is pretty much the kind of thing Jim would say.
Oh, all right. You just want me to read down, sort of like read this down this list,
Yeah,
and we'll just fit it in.
You can ad-lib if you want to, but you know Jim, too. Just kind of be the way Jim would be. You know how he'd respond to this kind of stuff.
Okay, all right,
All right,
great.
now, you've never done this with us, but you know we're going to run into trouble.
Oh, right.
Jean's going to, as soon as she hears the music, she'll be down here screaming at us. Just sort of let her go, let her yell a little bit. And then
All right.
I think she trusts you, so she'll let us go then.
All right, let her rip.
Are you guys watching those god-awful movies again?
Oh, no, darling. We're just watching It's a Wonderful Life. Kevin, come on.
Oh, where am I? Oh, with Jimmy Stewart.
And Donna Reed. It's our favorite.
Kevin, what are you doing here?
Well, you know, Jay asked me to come over and watch It's a Wonderful Life with him tonight.
Well, you know, I really trust you, and so I know that you really are going to be watching It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, sure. What else would we watch?
And I feel much better. I mean, well, usually when Jim comes over, they watch horror movies, and they watch, you know, things with people's heads getting blown up, and people getting eaten, and people getting chopped up, and it's really disgusting. But if you're here, I really do know, because I trust you, Kevin, that you guys are going to watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, really, no problem, Gene. It's one of my favorite movies. What can I say?
Well, good. Well, I can go run some errands now, so I'll see you later, alligator.
See you later, alligator, too.
No, guys, don't you get it? You're supposed to say, after a while, crocodile.
No, it's see you later, alligator, too.
No, dear, it's after a while, crocodile.
No, dear, it's see you later, alligator, too.
I'm not going to argue with you, Jay. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Kevin, you know, it comes out better if you say bye together.
Oh, I'm
ready,
sorry.
ready?
All right, ready.
Bye. Oh, Kevin, this is great.
What?
The movie, it's the movie. See, you don't get it. I know you don't get it, but the movie is called Alligator 2.
Oh, and so Gene said the name.
Just like she always does. We always trick her into saying the name.
Well, I have to get used to this.
Well, anyway, it's called Alligator 2, see? And it's about this alligator that lives in this pond. I don't know how it got there. It's probably in the sewer system or something. And, of course, there's a big development going up. And the guy who runs the development knows the alligator's there. But he doesn't want to do anything about it because they want to sell all these buildings off and everything. He knows an alligator's bad for business, see? So they have a big party there. To sort of celebrate the new place opening up and all the sales offices and stuff. And,
right.
Okay, well, anyway, naturally, you know what happens during the big party.
What?
The alligator comes out of the water, and it kills everybody. Yes,
I didn't know. I tried to warn him, but it happened too fast.
What happened, Henry? What was it?
You won't think I had the DTs, Steve.
No way, Henry.
It was a giant crocodile, I swear on my life. And mean, too. And big, bigger than big. Huge.
How much bigger than Big Henry?
It was using Otis for a toothpick. Otis was my friend, David. He didn't deserve to be a toothpick.
Otis was a good guy, wasn't he, Henry? We know where good guys go, don't we?
Kevin, the movie we have today is Alligator 2, The Mutation. And I'll tell you, when I first got this movie, I thought it was going to be great because Alligator 1 was written by John Sayles. It really was. And he's done some of the most wonderful movies. The Return of the Secaucus 7, Mate 1, I mean, a bunch of others. I've loved almost everything he's done. Leanna, just about every movie that Sayles has written and done and been involved in has really been good. So and he did Alligator 1 on a lark. And it was a really well-scripted movie. It was stupid, but it was well-scripted. And I thought, well, this will be good, too. Then I found out to my chagrin that he had nothing to do with this movie at all. And it really shows. Alligator 2 stars Steve Railsback. Remember him from the Stuntman, the thing with Peter O'Toole? He also played Charlie Manson in some movie. And he's getting worse, though, with every progressive movie. And Joseph Bologna. And, in fact, in a sense, that's prophetic because this movie has a lot of baloney.
Okay, now, wait a minute. Now, this is a list of things Jim would say if he were here doing this.
Right.
Okay. Oh, Jay, that was really funny. You tell the best jokes I've ever heard.
Gee, thanks. Also in this movie is Brock Peters, who's obviously on the way down in his career, and he always has that kind of forced look of indignation all the time. Well, he has that same thing here, and during the whole movie, he has that forced look of indignation about anything. Doesn't matter. He's not so much about the crocodile or the alligator, but just about anything. Kevin, here's a scene coming up that takes the whole trite plot of this movie and puts it in a nutshell.
We got a big problem, Mayor. Evidently, there's a man-eating alligator under the city. It killed 2 people last night at Regent Park Lake. So get rid of it. Well, wait a minute. It's not as simple as that. Brown's big weekend at the lake's going to have to be canceled.
There will be no cancellations.
See, no cancellations. No, the party can't be canceled. And, of course, it becomes a buffet, a cornucopia for the giant alligator at the end. We've seen it over and over again. There's nothing new about this. It's been done before. It's been done better.
You don't say, Jay. My, that's really interesting.
I'm glad you agree with me. I can't say that this movie was totally devoid of anything interesting. A couple of humorous moments that come up. In fact, here's one coming up.
Who's got the report on the missing Ochala brothers? Let me see it.
Hey, Hodges, how's it going?
Fine. That all there is on it?
Yeah. Unless,
Unless what?
well, there was a boot that washed up on South Shore this afternoon.
Maybe somebody chucked it.
Yeah, well, if they did it the hard way. The foot was still in it.
See? That's good humor, isn't it, Jim?
My goodness, Jay, you certainly have an eye for picking those scenes.
A couple of moments of levity in an otherwise dismal movie. There's more coming up, too, Jim.
I just don't know how you do
May
it.
I call you Jim? Kevin, can I call you Jim? I really get into the spirit. I want to call you Kevin, but you sound so much like Jim.
I really did find this movie, terrifying. It was really horrible. Not only did the alligator eat arms and legs and feet and things like that, well, just listen right here what the alligator gets.
Felipe, what happened?
My ball! Somebody took my ball! My ball! My ball! Somebody took my ball! My ball! Somebody took my ball!
See what I mean? The guy was yelling, my ball, you know, I mean, for that to happen to a man like that.
Oh, and that's why you think his voice was up so many octaves,
That's right. Your voice goes up like that, doesn't
Jim,
it?
give me a break. You missed the first part of the scene. That was a prepubescent. That was like an 11-year-old boy. And they were talking about a beach ball. He kicked a beach ball into the lake, and the crocodile came up and ate it. Didn't you see that part of it?
Well, no. I have a hard time following along with some of these,
You know, I guess you do.
I'm so
You missed
glad
that-
you're here tonight to
I
help
know.
me get through this.
Anyway, Jim, the rest of the movie goes on, and it's predictably boring. About maybe an hour into the movie, however, the developers decide they better do something about this. So they hire out for some mercenary alligator hunters from Florida, from the Everglades, to come up and go after the alligator. Of course, they don't tell them how bad the alligator is. And about 6 of them show up with all their gear. And then about the last half hour or 40 minutes of the movie is with the alligator hunters trying to track down the alligator. Of course, they all get killed, too. It's a predictable story. I won't even go into it. Jim, the fact that they brought in these alligator hunters, these mercenary alligator hunters, reminds me of a joke.
Oh, good. You know how much I enjoy your jokes.
I know you did, Jim. You like the long ones, too.
That's right.
Listen to this joke. This is really
I love
good.
sitting through them.
Uh-huh. Why don't you sit down and relax,
I
Jim?
will. I'll sit here and get comfortable, Jay.
Anyway, this is about a gorilla exterminator.
All right.
A guy looks out in his backyard one day, and he sees in his tree a 600-pound gorilla.
Oh, I bet that really frightened him.
It was terrifying. He ran back in the house, drank a strong cup of coffee, looked out the door again, and sure enough, the gorilla was still in the tree, Jim.
My goodness, what did he do?
He got on the phone and he called the neighbor. And he said, my God, what am I going to do? There's a 600-pound gorilla in a tree in my backyard.
And did the neighbor have an idea?
The neighbor said, sure. He says, call a gorilla exterminator. The guy says, gorilla exterminator? There's no such thing. He says, sure there is. Look in the yellow pages. And the guy says, I don't believe you. But he says, I'll look anyway. He had nothing to lose, you know. So he looks through the yellow pages. And he's looking under garage, garbage man, and there it is, gorilla exterminator. I can't believe there's a gorilla exterminator in the yellow pages. So he gets on the phone and he calls like Acme Gorilla Exterminators. About 20 minutes later, a little truck drives up in the front yard, light flashing, and it says Acme Gorilla Exterminators on the side. The guy still is incredulous about this, but goes out and meets him in the driveway, brings him around the back, and the guy looks up in the tree and goes, yep, you sure got a 600-pound gorilla there, all right. He says, come on with me, let's go back to the truck. So they walk back to the truck. The guy opens the back of the truck, pulls out a ladder, a shotgun, and a chihuahua, a net and a chihuahua.
All right.
Right? He's got a ladder, a shotgun, a net, and a chihuahua.
Okay.
They go back around to the backyard, see? And they're standing there.
With this assortment of odd things.
Oh, yeah. And they walk to the backyard, and there's the gorilla just staring at them from up in the tree. So the gorilla exterminator tells the guy, now look, he says, here's what we're going to do. He says, I'm going to put the ladder up against the tree.
Uh-huh.
He says, I'm going to climb up the tree.
Okay.
He says, I'm going to shake the tree real hard. He says, when the gorilla falls out of the tree, the chihuahua is trained to run up to him, grab onto his groin, his crotch, and just not let go. And while the gorilla's thrashing around with the chihuahua hanging on him, then you run up, throw the net on the gorilla. I'll come back down, I'll tie the net up, we'll carry him out to the truck, take him to the zoo. He says, well, that's amazing, it's a wonderful plan. He says, but what's the shotgun for? He says, if I lose my balance and fall out of the tree, you shoot the chihuahua. I knew you'd like that.
Funny, Jay.
I knew you'd like that.
Can I write that down?
Sure, you can.
Can I write that down and use that sometime?
You can quote me. It's a great one.
Jay.
Anyway, it goes on. The movie goes on, and naturally everybody gets killed. The alligator finally does get killed, and the hero does save the day, Joseph Bologna. But anyway, it's just a terribly bad movie.
Well, I think it's a fine movie, Jay, and I'm going to give it 4 lobotomies.
No, Jim. It's a terrible movie. 1 lobotomy at the most.
Oh, you're right, Jay. You're right. 1 lobotomy at the most. You're absolutely right.
And the reason is, Jim, as I said, had it been done by John Sayles, as I originally thought, it would have been probably a sparkling movie with a good script, an intelligent script, a lot of just good scenes in it, a generally well-balanced and well-executed movie. But the way it stands, Jim, without John Sayles' touch, Alligator 2 is a crock.
Oh, that's funny. Jay, this has been a night to remember. It's been entertaining, it's been enlightening, it's been everything, and I couldn't ask for a better experience while visiting my friend's house here, and I just want to thank you. Is there anything else I could do for you, Jay?
Actually, Jim, there is one thing.
What's
I've
that?
got some stuff I've got to do, and Tori needs his diaper changed. Would you mind changing it for me?
I'd
It's
love
upstairs.
to change his diaper.
The cloth diapers are in the closet.
I'd love to change his
Thanks,
diaper.
Jim.
Now, I take the cloth diaper, and I rinse it in the toilet first, and then you put it in the diaper hamper?
The dirty one.
The
Jim.
dirty
You take
one,
the dirty
right.
The clean
yes.
one you don't rinse in the toilet.
Hey, I don't mind a dirty diaper.
No, I know you
I've
don't.
seen my share of dirty diapers in my life.
Well, you run
I don't
along and
mind
have
it.
fun, Jim. I'm going to go out. I've got some things to do, okay? Oh, and Jim, by the way, we'd like to thank Star Video at 3143 South Grand here in St. Louis for letting us use the movie today.
Are you guys watching those god-awful movies again?
Oh, no, we're watching It's a Wonderful Life, huh, Jay?
That's right, with Jimmy Stewart.
And Donna Reed. It's our favorite.
Well, what are you doing with the baby's number blocks and that fruit?
Well, I'm working out a new system to teach him things, see?
Yeah?
Like, look at this. Here's a fruit, and here's a number block. What do you see?
An apple on a 1.
That's right, that's right.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Okay,
yeah.
now check out this one. What do you see now?
A pear on a 2.
Pair on a 2. Yeah, that's right, Jay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it is.
It's great.
What are you laughing at?
Huh?
What?
All I said was a pear on a 2.
I don't know.
Okay.
You're watching those movies again, aren't you?
No, we wouldn't know. It's a Wonderful Life.
No,
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, and all that, huh?
Yeah.
Well, here's a game with numbers and nuts. What's this?
Oh, that's a 3. That's easy.
3, yeah, huh?
And this?
4.
And this?
5.
And this?
7.
Right.
What? No 6 tonight?
I don't know about you, Jim, but as far as you, Jay, as the Germans would say it, 9. Good night.
Good night. What's all this about, Jay? What is this? I don't understand.
I'm out of luck again tonight, Jim.
Yeah, sounds like it, but what's going on?
The good
I don't
part,
understand.
It doesn't matter. The good part is, Jim, that she said it again.
What do you mean she said it again? Apple on a 1?
No.
Pear on a 2?
That's it.
Pear
That's
on
it.
a 2?
That's
What are
right.
you
We got
talking
the
about?
movie, the movie night, Jim.
Pear on a 2.
Piranha 2.
Piranha 2.
That's right. Yeah.
No,
You know
that's
what it's about? Remember well, you remember Piranha 1,
Oh,
don't
sure
you?
I do. It was great, yeah.
Okay. The same fish that were in Piranha 1
Yeah.
are back in Piranha 2.
Yeah.
Except this time they got wings.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so they get to fly around.
Yeah.
and
And kill everybody. Oh, that sounds great.
Put it in.
Okay.
They killed my son. I'm going to kill them fish. I'm going to kill them in the wreck.
I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them that made this movie. This is Piranha 2, The Spawning. Jim, and I just know. I've known you for 27 years, and I know you're going to like this one.
Has it been that long?
Yes, it has. And I tell you why I know you're going to like this movie, Jim, because of the names. Now, in this case, the name of this guy in here, Gianetto De Rossi. Now, there's nothing really interesting about him except his job in this movie, Jim, was supervisor of prosthetics. So you know what kind of movie you got going here. I know that you're going to like this thing. I hated it. This is, again, it's Piranha 2: The Spawning, a 1988 release. I don't know when this thing was made. It should never have been made. Go ahead and start defending it, because I know you're going to do it.
Well, Jay, come on. I mean, I like movies for good reasons, I think. I mean, and you can't make fun of that guy in the opening either. I mean, they just killed his son. You know, he was just cleaning the boat up for a day's fishing for the next day, and the piranha come up out of this tank and eat his throat out. I mean, and kill him. You know, I mean, he's upset. Jay, you shouldn't make fun of the guy. I mean, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Jim, don't you remember what this guy and his son used to do for kicks? Well, actually, not for kicks. It was partly for their living, I guess. But they used to dynamite fish. They spent the whole first part of the movie taping like 3 and 4 sticks of dynamite together, tossing them in the ocean. All these dead fish had bobbed to the surface. This is just
They're dead. They're just stunned.
Yeah, okay. It's the fish's way of getting revenge. That's all.
Oh,
it's just
that's
even
silly.
score.
That's silly. Jay, I don't know what you're talking about, but this movie had everything, Jay. And just to start off, it was humorous. It was a very humorous movie.
Yeah, it was really hysterical, Jim. Here's an example of the humor.
You know, Mudbug, I can't figure out why I came to a small island for my vacation. I mean, I live on a small island. Oh, really? Which one? Manhattan.
Hey, that's a riot, Jim.
That is. That's good.
Yeah, that's really funny.
I like that.
Here's another good one.
This little pun there.
It's your husband. Tried to gnaw my arm off, but there just wasn't time.
Oh, that's a riot, Jim.
Yeah, that's the coyote syndrome.
I tried to gnaw my arm off, and there wasn't time. Well,
she was laying on his arm. You know, he couldn't get up. You know.
Jim. And luckily, or fortunately, I think, the piranhas did it for him later on in the movie.
Jay, you have no
never
sense of
happened to a
humor.
nicer guy.
You had no sense of humor. Look, it had romance, too. I said it had everything.
The movie had romance?
Had humor, had romance.
Oh, yeah. Here's a good example of the romance.
Okay.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're safe. You saved my life. My pleasure.
Oh, it hurts.
Oh, can I take a look?
Oh, yeah, please don't.
I'm sorry. Oh. Maybe we should get you to a doctor.
Aren't you a doctor?
No.
You're not a doctor?
No. But I'm a dentist.
You're a dentist?
Dr. Leo Bell, DDS, at your service.
Hi, I'm Beverly.
Ain't that sweet, Jay? I mean, that's
sweet.
cute.
Okay.
You know,
I don't wanna hear
anybody
anymore.
can make a
Jim,
match on the beach,
I
Jay.
don't want to hear any more of this. I'm ready to go
All
back
right.
to your original ideas of why this movie was good.
All right, all right.
Stupid.
You are. Oh, that's great, Jay. Because I have them all ready for you too.
Go ahead.
This is great. This movie is relevant because it really takes what's happened in the past and just makes assumptions of things that could happen in the future. For instance, you remember like 7 or 8 years ago in Florida, they had those imported catfish that were walking between the ponds, and it'd dry up, and he'd walk out and go to the other one, and the walking catfish thing.
I had to admit, I've never seen one, Jim. I heard
Well,
about
no,
it.
well, sure, I haven't either, but I've seen pictures, and that's what these, flying piranha could be. You know, we got walking catfish. What's the difference, right? Okay, now, okay, here's another one. Now, you remember that guy that used to have that fishing show that was here in St. Louis?
Get About Gaddis.
Get About Gaddis. That's right. He was called the Flying Fisherman, Jay. Well, he had to have something to catch, and here they are. Now they're ready. I mean, poor Gadabout, I don't think he's with us anymore, but...
Jim, have you ever heard of the ontological argument for God's existence?
No.
Well, that's precariously close to it. It's
Is it?
scary. Go ahead.
You mean Gadabout could be God?
No,
okay.
go on with your
All right.
stupid explanation.
All right, anyway. All right, look. We've had fly casting for years. Fly casting, get it? You know, that flying fish fly, you know.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm not convinced yet, Jim.
All right. How about water wings?
Water wings?
Water wings? I mean, they've been around for a long time.
So they're a flying fish because somebody has water wings.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, great.
Well, it's the same thing.
Jim, this is ridiculous. This is a 1.5 lobotomy movie.
Oh, you're out of your mind. This is a 4 lobotomy movie. Not only all the stuff I mentioned, but the great soundtrack too. It's wonderful.
What soundtrack? There were no songs in the whole movie.
Well, sure there was, Jay. They're going to put out a record real soon about on you know from the songs of the movie.
A soundtrack album?
Yeah, soundtrack album.
What label would put out a soundtrack album with no songs at all and no soundtrack?
Well, Flying Fish Records, of course.
Oh, really? Jim, I can't take this anymore. Thanks to Start Video at 3117 South Grand for the use of the movie. Now, what on earth is the matter with you?
Well, Jay, it's a great movie about fish. It's great. It's just a good one.
Jim, you got this whole thing wrong. Who would want to watch a movie about fish? Who wants to hear a soundtrack about fish? Who cares about these fish?
Are you kidding, Jay? It's obvious. Here are some people right here who want to hear about it. And they get fish, Jay, right in the throat. Yeah, here's the screen. I just let it run out.